Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families. The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. But she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people.
Caitlin Clark has become the most talked about player in basketball. Not just women's basketball, period. She's breaking records, filling arenas, and making the WNBA more relevant than ever before. But with her rise, something else has become just as noticeable. The wave of criticism, resentment, and outright hostility she's been receiving from certain corners of the league. And leading the charge, ESPN's Monica McNutt, the relentless attacks on Caitlin Clark. The hate directed at Caitlin Clark isn't just about basketball, it's personal. Every time her name comes up, there's a concerted effort to downplay her achievements, criticize her fan base, and make her out to be some kind of undeserving beneficiary of privilege. And the most frustrating part, this isn't just coming from a handful of jealous players, it's coming from sports media too. Monica McNutt, a high-profile analyst at ESPN, has made it clear that she can't talk about Clark without injecting race into the conversation. Recently, on a podcast, she acknowledged how Clark's rookie season had brought a massive wave of young girls and families to the WNBA. But instead of celebrating this, McNutt immediately framed it through race, saying that Clark's popularity was due to her being a white girl from the middle of America. This isn't random, this is calculated. Former players, current players, and media figures have realised that talking about Clark, especially in a negative light, keeps their names in the conversation. They know Clark has a massive and loyal fan base, and they understand that triggering those fans will generate engagement, clicks, and outrage. And let's be honest, it's working. Every time someone in the WNBA takes a shot at Clark, it blows up on social media. It fuels debates on sports shows. In a way, Clark's biggest critics are actually benefiting from her success. Why fans relate to Caitlin Clark? There's a reason Clark resonates with so many fans, and it goes beyond race. It's about values. Clark grew up in a traditional two-parent household. She has a boyfriend. She carries herself with confidence but not entitlement. She plays the game with joy, not anger. And for a lot of parents, regardless of race, she represents a type of athlete they want their kids to look up to. The WNBA for years has been dominated by a culture that is heavily aligned with social justice activism, often at the expense of marketability. While that may appeal to some fans, it has alienated many others. Clark, intentionally or not, represents something different. She's bringing in people who may have never watched a WNBA game before, and that's what really seems to bother her critics. The basketball argument falls flat. Let's not pretend this is about skill. Clark is not just another player getting attention for no reason. She's arguably the most exciting player to watch in the entire WNBA. She shoots deep threes like Steph Curry. She passes like Magic Johnson. She scores like Pete Maravich. She's leading the league in assists, dropping 30+ points on any given night, and making highlight reel plays every single game. Compare that to Angel Reese, who, despite being a talented rebounder, struggles offensively. Or A'ja Wilson, who, while dominant, plays a style of basketball that isn't nearly as exciting or relatable to the average fan. It's not that Clark is getting more attention because she's white. It's because she's playing a brand of basketball that's electric, marketable, and appealing. The real conversation the media won't have. There's an uncomfortable truth that McNutt and others refuse to acknowledge. The WNBA has an image problem. The league has been pushing a certain type of culture that, quite frankly, doesn't resonate with a broad audience. For years, the WNBA has been heavily aligned with identity politics, and many of its biggest stars have carried themselves with a level of hostility that turns off casual fans. There's a reason the league has struggled to gain mainstream traction. Clark changes that. She plays the game with joy. She brings in new fans. She doesn't make everything about race or gender politics. And that, more than anything, is what's making people in the WNBA uncomfortable. This isn't going away. Caitlin Clark is going to keep dominating, and her critics are going to keep looking for reasons to tear her down. But Clark doesn't need their approval. She just needs to keep doing what she does best, winning games and proving the doubters wrong. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video.